I held 2 glasses of champagne in the service corridor adjacent to the Fairmont Hotel ballroom when I heard my wife's voice drift through the partially open door. The company holiday party was in full swing, 200 employees celebrating another record year. "I don't know how much longer I can keep this up," Lisa said, her voice carrying that particular tone after 3 drinks. Confident, unguarded, reckless. "You need to make a choice," Melissa from marketing replied. "This has been going on for 6 months. People are starting to notice." 6 months. My hand tightened on the champagne flutes. "Richard says we need to be patient," Lisa continued. "But God, David's just so comfortable. He's not ambitious anymore. Richard understands what it takes to win. He's going places, and he wants me there." Richard Chambers, Chief Marketing Officer, 52, Lisa's boss, married. I'd met him last year, shaken his hand, never suspected. "What about David?" Jennifer from accounting asked. "He is a good guy. That's the problem. He's safe, predictable. He paid for my MBA, helped me get this job through his connections, and now he's just coasting." Richard is dynamic, powerful. "Being with him makes me feel alive." I stood in that corridor holding champagne, meant for us, and felt something fundamental break. Not my heart, something colder. This was the death of illusions. I set the glasses down and left. Drove home, to Bellevue, to the house I'd purchased 8 years ago. The house where we'd planned children that never came because Lisa kept saying the timing wasn't right. She needed to focus on her career first. I was a commercial real estate developer, pulling in $210,000 annual. Lisa made $115,000 as marketing director, a position she'd landed partly through my introduction to Richard 3 years ago. I'd literally handed her the contact that led to her affair. I went to my office and started gathering evidence. Credit card statements showed dozens of charges. Canless dinner, $350. Hotel room at the W, $425. All on nights she'd claimed to be working late. All charges I'd explained away because I trusted her. I found her burner phone at 2 in the morning, taped under her car's driver's seat. Messages went back 7 months. Explicit, detailed. Richard calling her his future. Photos I couldn't unsee. I photographed everything, backed it up to 3 cloud accounts. Put the phone back exactly where I'd found it. When Lisa came home at 1:30, smelling of wine and cologne that wasn't mine, she kissed my shoulder. "Sorry I'm late. Richard needed help with a presentation." "It's okay," I murmured. "I understand." At 7 in the morning, I called private investigator Marcus Webb. We met at a Redmond coffee shop. "I need documentation. Everything. Movements, meetings, hotel visits. Thorough and admissible in court." Webb looked through my folder. "You've done half my job already. I need you to do the other half. 2 weeks. Can you do it?" "Absolutely." I gave him $5,000. He started that afternoon. Lisa noticed nothing. I smiled, nodded, asked how her day was. Every night I gathered more evidence, reviewed Webb's reports, built my case brick by brick. On day 10, Webb called. "I have everything. Multiple hotel visits, romantic dinners, timestamps, photos. They're not hiding well. One more thing. Information on Richard Chambers, family, weaknesses, everything. Already compiled." The file arrived seconds later. Richard married to Catherine for 28 years. 2 adult children, Michael, 26, and Emma, 21, recent UW graduate in psychology. Catherine was a pediatrician, completely unaware. Emma's Instagram showed bitter posts about corporate greed, about being disappointed by people you're supposed to respect. She knew something was wrong. 2 days later, I met divorce attorney Robert Kensington. I showed him everything. He smiled. "This is one of the strongest cases I've seen. Workplace affair between supervisor and subordinate is an ethics violation. We're talking documented adultery, your financial contributions to her career. She's not getting spousal support. She might not keep her job. I want her to lose everything," I said. Over the next week, I executed every step. Opened separate account, transferred $130,000 proportional to my contribution, documented the $48,000 I'd spent on her MBA, filed divorce papers citing adultery with Richard named explicitly. Then I scheduled a meeting with HR Director Patricia Thornton. I brought documentation of the affair. Her face went pale. "This is termination level for both parties. I'm asking you to investigate quietly. When the time is right, do what's appropriate." I had one final unplanned meeting at a Pike Place coffee shop, reviewing documents. Someone sat across from me. "You're David Hartley," she said. "Emma Chambers, Richard's daughter, 21, dark hair, eyes older than her age." I've seen you at company events, always by yourself while she networks. I know what my father is. Multiple affairs. This one he thinks is real. We talked for 2 hours. About betrayal and disappointment. About parents who fail. She told me about her mother's suspicions, family dinners filled with tension, her rage at a father who valued ambition over integrity. If you ever need someone who understands watching your family implode, call me, she said, giving me her number. 3 days later, everything was ready. Papers filed, HR investigate, assets protected, consequences primed. I went home and smiled. Lisa was making dinner. Good day? Very good. One of the best in months. Things are really coming together. All my planning is about to pay off. Her expression shifted, uncertain. What planning? You'll find out tomorrow. I poured bourbon. Big changes coming. Transformative. I texted Kensington. Papers served tomorrow morning at her workplace. Tomorrow, Lisa would be served in front of colleagues. Papers naming her boss. And that would be just the beginning. The process server arrived at Lisa's office at 9:45. Webb was positioned across the street with a camera. The server handed Lisa the envelope at her desk, surrounded by co-workers. Lisa Hartley, you've been served. Webb's photos showed Lisa's face going from confused to pale to horrified. Her supervisor approaching, Lisa stammering, retreating to a conference room, whispers following. By 10:15, HR called Richard into Patricia's office. At 11:30, Richard emerged shaken. At noon, Lisa was escorted out with a box of belongings. Administrative leave pending investigation. Lisa called me 7 times. I didn't answer. Her 7th voicemail at 3:20. David, please, I can explain everything. This is a misunderstanding. I went to the gym instead. Came home at 6 to find Lisa waiting. You had me served at work, in front of everyone. Do you know what you've done? Yes. I've held you accountable. You've ruined my career. HR is investigating me and Richard. Are you denying the affair? She opened her mouth, closed it. That's not the point. That's exactly the point. You had an affair with your married boss. You lied for 7 months. So yes, Lisa, I'm holding you accountable. How did you? Evidence gathering. There's a difference between spying and gathering evidence for divorce. Spying is illegal. Evidence is smart. I want to talk. We can work through this. No. David, please. I made a mistake. Richard was... It doesn't matter. It's over. It's not over for Richard. I sent everything to Catherine, his wife. She received it this morning. Lisa went white. You didn't. Complete documentation. Photos, messages, hotel records. She's filing for divorce too. You gave her everything she needed. You're destroying lives. You destroyed your own life. I'm making sure everyone knows what you did. Over the next 2 weeks, I met Emma 4 more times. Coffee became lunch. Lunch became dinner. Somewhere around the 3rd dinner, I realized I looked forward to seeing her more than anything else. She made me laugh, challenged me, didn't treat me like a victim. My father called again, she told me, during our 5th meeting, about how I'm breaking his heart by choosing sides. Are you choosing sides? I'm choosing integrity. He broke his own heart. The HR investigation concluded in week 3. Both Lisa and Richard were terminated for ethics violations. Richard's termination came with public SEC-required disclosure. Inappropriate relationship with subordinate. His reputation was destroyed. Lisa couldn't find equivalent work. By week 4, she'd taken a junior position at a startup, making $65,000, half her previous salary. Richard's divorce from Catherine moved forward brutally. He'd lose 60% of assets. Both children stopped speaking to him. At dinner with Emma, Kensington called. Settlement offer. Lisa wants sealed records and an NDA preventing you from discussing the affair publicly. No NDA, but I'll seal records. Not for her, for myself. I returned to Emma. Lisa's trying to settle. Will you stay quiet? I won't post on social media, but I won't lie if someone asks. She cheated, that's truth. Emma smiled. Good. Truth matters. We walked the waterfront afterward. Late April, weather warming. Are you doing okay? She asked. Really okay? I'm getting there. Some days are better. Today was a good day. Because of the settlement? Because of the company, I said, looking at her. She held my gaze. Me too. If you've made it this far, hit that subscribe button because the confrontation is about to get nuclear. I drove home to find Lisa waiting. We need to talk. You're out every night. Happier. You're seeing someone. That's none of your business. You're having an affair while we're married. We're separated. Who I spend time with is my concern. Just like your concern about Richard outweighed our vows. Who is she? I smiled. Someone you'll meet eventually. But tonight, you're going to the guest room, and we're maintaining civility until you move out in 6 days. She stared, trying to to find leverage, but I'd closed all vulnerabilities. I was a fortress. "I hate what you've become," she said. "I'm what you made. Good night, Lisa." 6 more days. Then she'd be gone. Then the next phase could begin. Lisa moved out on a Saturday in the early May. I watched from my office window as she loaded boxes into her car. At 2 p.m., she returned her house key, sliding it across the kitchen counter. "I'll be in touch through my attorney." "Sounds good." She hesitated, wanting to say something meaningful. Nothing came. She picked up the last box and left. The door closed with a soft click. 12 years ending not with a slam, but with silence. My phone buzzed. "Emma, how are you doing?" "She's gone. House is mine again." "How does it feel?" "Empty, but in a good way. Clean slate." "Want company?" "I'm downtown. Could bring lunch." "Yes, I'd like that." She arrived with Thai food and wine. We ate at my dining table, the same table where I'd confronted Lisa. Normal conversation about her non-profit work, my Kirkland development project. Nothing dramatic, except it wasn't normal. Something had shifted between us. The way she looked at me wasn't just friendly. The way I noticed her laugh, her gestures, the shade of her eyes in afternoon light. Those weren't just observations. They were attractions I was trying not to acknowledge. She was 21. I was 39. She was my wife's affair partner's daughter. Every logical reason said this was complicated. But when she reached across the table and touched my hand, I didn't pull away. "I'm okay. Better than okay. For the first time in months, I can breathe." "Good. You deserve that," she said, leaving her hand on mine. At the door later, she hesitated. "David, I know this is complicated. My father, your wife, the timing, but I really like spending time with you. I really like spending time with you too. So we'll keep doing it?" "Yes, we will." My phone rang after she left. Unknown number. "David Hartley, this is Catherine Chambers, Richard's soon-to-be ex-wife." I straightened. "Mrs. Chambers, I wanted to thank you for the evidence. Your documentation made my case airtight. I also wanted to tell you, Emma speaks highly of. She's happier than I've seen her in months. She's a remarkable person. She is. And I'm not calling to warn you off. Whatever develops between you and my daughter, you have my support. You're a good man who was treated badly. She deserves someone who sees her clearly. If you find something together, I'll be happy for you both." Waters, the next day, Emma and I hiked Mount Sinai. 4 hours climbing to the summit. At the top, eating sandwiches. She said, "We should make this a habit. Weekly hikes." "Is that what we're doing? Making plans for the future?" "I'd like to, if you would." "Emma, I need you to understand. I'm 18 years older. I'm divorcing. Your father destroyed my marriage. The optics are complicated. I know, I've thought about it. Here's what I think. My father doesn't get to ruin good things. Age gaps matter less when both people are adults who know what they want. I know what I want, David. Do you?" I looked at her, this brilliant woman who'd emerged from her father's wreckage with integrity, intact, who made me laugh, challenged me, saw through my control to the grief underneath. "I'm starting to," she smiled. "Good. Then let's keep hiking and see where the trail leads." We hiked every weekend. Mount C became Rainier, became the Olympics. By mid-June, we'd stopped pretending this was friendship. The kiss happened overlooking Snoqualmie Falls. "How long have you wanted to do that?" I asked. "Since our second coffee. You?" "Since our third." We kept it private. Not secret, but quiet. No social media posts. Just time together, building something genuine. But news travels. Someone would see us. Word would get back to Lisa and Richard. That time came in late June, the Pacific Northwest Real Estate Summit. 3 days downtown. I'd confirmed attendance months ago, back when my marriage was intact. Lisa would be there. Richard too. And I would attend with Emma, who refused to hide. "Are you sure?" I'd asked. "This will be nuclear, I'm sure. Let them see us. Let them see what choosing integrity looks like." So we went together, and everything exploded in public. The Pacific Northwest Real Estate Summit filled the Washington State Convention Center with 3,000 attendees. Emma wore a navy dress, professional and striking. I wore charcoal. We looked like exactly what we were, 2 adults attending a business function. Nothing scandalous. We registered at 9 and walked into the exhibition hall. Eyes on us immediately. Recognition spreading. Whispers. My colleagues knew about the divorce. Few knew about Emma. That changed fast. "David," my partner Marcus approached. "Who's your guest?" "Emma Chambers." "Nice to meet you." "Chambers," Marcus repeated. Recognition dawned. "Any relation to Richard Chambers?" "My father, though we're not on speaking terms." Marcus's eyebrows rose, but he stayed professional. "Welcome. David, let's talk Kirkland project later." Each introduction followed the same pattern. Curiosity, recognition, careful neutrality as people calculated implications. If this moment infuriates you, smash that like button. At 10:30, I saw Lisa across the hall at her startup's booth, small space, back corner. She looked tired, older, her suit off the rack. She saw me, then Emma beside me, our hands linked. Her face cycled through confusion, recognition, absolute horror. She walked directly toward us. David, we need to talk, now. Hello, Lisa. This is Emma. Emma, this is Lisa, my ex-wife. Emma extended her hand. Lisa stared at it. You're Richard's daughter. I am, though I prefer not to be defined by my father's mistakes. You're sleeping with him. You're sleeping with my husband as sick revenge. Ex-husband. The divorce finalized 2 weeks ago. And Emma isn't revenge. She's the woman I'm dating. This is disgusting. She's 21. She's a child. She's an adult who makes her own choices. Just like you made yours when you decided to sleep with your married boss. People were watching now. Phones coming out. Lisa's face flushed red, hands shaking. How long? How long have you been with her? That's none of your business. Hey, you started this while we were married. I started spending time with Emma after you were served. After 7 months of you lying. But even if the timeline was different, you don't get to judge. You forfeited that right. I made a mistake. I apologized. You apologized after you got caught. You tried to fix things after you lost your job and your affair partner. And this isn't you hurting me deliberately. This is me moving forward with someone honest. Someone who understands betrayal. Emma isn't a weapon. She's a person I care about deeply. Lisa turned to Emma, tears streaming. Do you have any idea what you're doing? He's using you to hurt me and your father. Emma met her gaze steadily. I'm sorry you're hurting, but David isn't using me. We connected over shared experiences. We built something real. What my father did is his responsibility, not mine. I'm not avoiding happiness because it makes you uncomfortable. Oh, your father. My father is a liar who destroyed his marriage and his relationships with his children. I know exactly who he is. Just like David knows who you are now. We both chose differently. We chose honesty. A crowd had gathered. 20 people. Phones recording. This would be all over LinkedIn by evening. We're done here, I said. You need to move on. What I do and who I'm with is no longer your concern. You've changed. The man I married would never be this cold. The man you married trusted you. He's gone. This is who I am now. Someone who protects himself. Someone who values integrity. Richard Chambers emerged from the crowd. 52, expensive suit, hiding stress weight, bloodshot eyes. Emma, sweetheart, please. Can we talk? No, I'm your father. You're the man who raised me. There's a difference. Fathers protect families. They honor commitments. They model integrity. You did none of those things. This is about your mother turning you against me. This is about watching you lie and cheat for years. About you destroying our family for ego. About you calling me asking for money because mom got the house. You made choices. These are consequences. Richard's eyes swung to me. You did this. You turned my daughter against me. I did nothing. Emma made her own choices, just like you made yours. When you decided sleeping with my wife was worth destroying 2 families, Lisa meant nothing. It was just an affair, just sex. Lisa made a wounded sound. Even now, hearing him dismiss their relationship cut her. Just an affair, I repeated. 7 months of lies, hotel rooms, future planning, and you call it just. Men like you don't understand ambition, drive, the need for more. I understand perfectly. You wanted validation. You used Lisa for that. You used your position, your authority, your marriage as tools. And when it collapsed, you called it nothing. Huh? And now you're sleeping with my daughter as revenge. That's sick. I'm dating Emma because she's brilliant and honest and kind. Because we connect on values you don't possess. Your relationship to her is incidental. This isn't about you. You're just collateral damage in other people's healing. Richard stepped toward me. Security was moving through the crowd. You've ruined everything. No, you destroyed everything. I just made sure everyone knew what you did. Security reached us. Gentlemen, we need you to disperse. Richard looked at Emma once more. You're making a mistake. He's too old. This won't last. Don't come crying to me when it falls apart. I won't. Because even if this ends tomorrow, it will have been more honest than anything you modeled. Goodbye, Dad. She turned her back, took my hand. We walked away through the watching crowd, leaving Richard and Lisa standing together in wreckage they'd created. Was I justified? Did I cross a line? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We left the convention center, walked to a coffee shop 2 blocks away, sat in the back corner booth. That was intense. Emma said, "Are you okay?" I'm okay. Are you? I'm better than okay. For the first time, I feel completely free. No more secrets, no more hiding. It's done. They both looked so broken. They are broken, but they broke themselves. Emma's phone buzzed. My mom. Someone texted her about the scene. What did she say? Emma smiled. She said, "Good for you," then asked if you're treating me well. What did you tell her? That you're the most honest man I've ever met, and that I'm happy. Are you happy? She leaned across and kissed me, right there in the coffee shop. I'm very happy. My phone had 17 messages. Colleagues checking in. Marcus, drinks tonight? You need to debrief. I replied, rain check. Spending evening with Emma. We drove to my house, ordered takeout, watched sunset from the deck, talked about grad school, about the Kirkland project, about the Enchantments hike in August. Normal conversation, normal evening, except it was better than normal. It was honest and clear, built on survived pain rather than illusion. At 11, Emma's phone buzzed. Her father, another voicemail. She looked at it and sobbed. I don't have to listen. I know. She deleted it without playing. I'm done giving him chances to manipulate. We fell asleep on the couch, exhausted from confrontation and relief. When I woke at 3, she was still sleeping, peaceful and trusting. Lisa and Richard had each other's drama now. Emma and I had something different, something cleaner, something earned through honesty, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. The first week after the conference was chaos on social media. Someone posted the entire confrontation to LinkedIn with caption, "When corporate affairs have consequences." 20,000 views, hundreds of comments. I muted notifications and focused on work. Lisa's startup let her go within 3 days. The viral video wasn't the publicity they wanted. Richard's consulting contract was terminated. His LinkedIn went from CMO to available to offline within 2 weeks. My life improved dramatically. The Kirkland project secured $35 million in funding. I was promoted to partner, 40% salary increase to $294,000 annual. Emma started grad school at UW in September, focusing on trauma therapy. She moved into my house officially in August. Genuine choice, not escape. Catherine finalized her divorce in October, got the house and 65% of assets. She started dating a pediatric surgeon who'd waited years for her. Michael, Richard's son, reached out to Emma in November. They met for coffee, began rebuilding their relationship slowly. Richard spiraled, lost his apartment, moved into extended stay hotel, started drinking heavily. His LinkedIn went dark. He'd become a ghost. Lisa found work eventually, marketing coordinator at a non-profit making $52,000 annually. She moved to a Capitol Hill studio, posted occasionally about fresh starts, but the posts felt hollow. She was surviving, not thriving. I saw Lisa once by accident. December afternoon at Metropolitan Market. I was shopping for dinner party supplies. Emma and I were hosting Catherine and her partner, plus Marcus and his wife. 20 people total. Our first big event. Lisa was studying wine labels. She'd lost more weight, face gaunt, clothes hanging loose. She saw me before I could redirect. Her face went through surprise, pain, resignation. David, Lisa, you look good, really good. I heard about the partnership. Congratulations. Thank you. Awkward silence. I should have walked away, but something in her expression made me pause. Are you doing okay? Her eyes filled with tears. Not really, but I'm trying. Lost another job last month. Clients didn't like my history. I'm sorry. Are you happy? With her? With Emma? Very happy. Good. You deserve that. I know I destroyed us. I have no right to your forgiveness, but I am genuinely glad you found someone who treats you well. Lisa, no, let me finish. I've been in real therapy. I'm starting to understand what I did. Not just the affair, the dismissiveness. How I treated our marriage like a safety net, while I chased excitement. How I valued external validation over partnership. I was selfish and cruel and destroyed something good. I can't fix that, but I can acknowledge it. I studied her, looking for manipulation, found only exhausted honesty. I appreciate you saying that. I hope you find your way to a better place. You made terrible choices, but you're not a terrible person, just someone who valued the wrong things. Richard won't speak to me. After everything, he won't take my calls. He blamed me for his divorce, his career collapse. Like I forced him to have an affair. Richard blames everyone but himself. That's who he is. Emma's lucky. Tell her I said that. She got the better version of it. She picked up cheap wine and walked toward checkout. I watched her go, feeling strange mix of pity and relief. Pity for her suffering. Relief. It was no longer my responsibility. The dinner party the next evening was a success. Catherine and James were charming together. Marcus and Diane entertained everyone with Japan stories. Emma's grad school friend brought a partner in urban planning, and we spent an hour discussing sustainable development. normal dinner party, normal life with someone I loved, surrounded by people who valued honesty. Catherine pulled me aside in the kitchen. "Thank you for being good to my daughter." She makes it easy. "Richard called me last night, drunk, crying, asking for another chance." "What did you tell him?" "I told him I'm engaged to James and hung up," she said, showing me a simple diamond ring. "Proposed last week." I said yes immediate. "Congratulations. You're family now." That's different from guest. 3 months later, February, I had final encounter with Richard. Downtown parking garage after an investor meeting. He approached from the stairwell, looking worse than ever, unshaven, clothes wrinkled, eyes desperate. "I need to talk to you." "I don't think that's a good idea." "Please, just 5 minutes." Against better judgment, I nodded. "I know you hate me. I don't hate you. I don't think about you enough to hate." He flinched. "I deserve that. I wanted to apologize. For the affair. For the damage. I was arrogant and selfish and cruel." "Yes, you were. I've lost everything. Career, marriage, children. I'm living an extended stay, working part-time consulting. I have nothing. And you think apologizing to me will fix that? No. I need to acknowledge what I did to someone directly hurt. My therapist says I need accountability." Your therapist is right, but accountability isn't just words. It's changed behavior, making amends where possible, accepting consequences without expecting forgiveness. I'm trying. Sober 6 weeks. Working with employment counsel. Good. Keep doing that. But Richard, I don't forgive you. I don't wish you well. I don't hope for your redemption. You destroyed my marriage. The only reason I'm listening is curiosity about whether you've learned anything. Emma hates me. Emma's disappointed in you. There's a difference. Hate requires energy. Disappointment is just acceptance of who you actually are versus who you pretended to be. Will she ever forgive me? That's not my question. But if you want my opinion, maybe. Someday, if you actually do the work, if you stop blaming others, if you accept full responsibility and change fundamentally. But it will take years, and it requires proving through actions you're a different person. He nodded slowly. "Thank you for listening. Your 5 minutes are up, David. For what it's worth, she's good for you. Emma, you look happier than I ever saw you. She is good for me, and I'm good for her, because we chose honesty. We chose differently than you chose. That's what makes it work." I drove away without looking back. Drove home to Emma, studying at the dining table, textbooks spread across the surface. "How was the meeting?" "Good. Investors are in." I paused. "I saw your father. He wanted to apologize." Her expression didn't change. "How was that?" "Sad. He's actually broken. I told him accountability requires action, not just words." "What did he say?" "He asked if you'd ever forgive him." I said that was your decision. Emma was quiet. "I don't know if I will. He hurt Mom. He hurt you. He spent my childhood being someone else in private. That's hard to forgive. You don't have to decide now or ever. Forgiveness isn't obligation, I know, but part of me hopes he changes. Not for a relationship with me, just because people should get chances to be better." 6 months later, August, I asked Emma to marry me. We were at the Enchantments, the hike we'd planned a year ago. At the summit of Asgard Pass, 9,000 feet, wilderness spread below. I pulled out the ring I'd carried for 2 weeks. "Emma Chambers, will you marry me?" She said yes before I'd fully opened the box. We kissed at 9,000 feet, both crying, both laughing, both absolutely certain. The wedding was October. Small ceremony at Catherine's house overlooking Puget Sound. 40 guests. Emma wore a simple dress. I wore the suit from that conference. Catherine walked her down the aisle. James officiated. Marcus was best man. Michael attended with his fiancée. During vows, I spoke from my heart. I promise to choose you every day, to be honest, even when it's hard, to value your growth, to build life based on truth rather than illusion, to honor what we survived to get here, and to love you because of how you've chosen to respond to your history. Emma's vows were equally powerful. I promise to see you clearly, to never take your trust for granted, to build partnership based on equality and respect, to support your healing as you've supported mine, to choose integrity in every moment, and to remind you every day that you deserve happiness. We were pronounced married, kissed as 50 people applauded, walked back down the aisle toward a future we'd built from wreckage. At the reception, Catherine gave a toast. When my marriage ended, I thought it was tragedy. Now I see it was necessary. David and Emma found each other because Richard and Lisa made terrible choices. Sometimes the worst betrayals lead to the best new beginnings. To David and Emma, may your honesty always be your foundation. We danced. We ate. We celebrated with people who'd supported us through the darkest moments. I heard through a mutual friend that Lisa saw wedding photos on social media. She'd commented, "Beautiful, happy for you both," and then deleted it within hours. The friend said Lisa was dating someone new, a marketing manager at a tech startup. I hoped she'd learned from her mistakes, not for my benefit, just because people deserve chances to grow. Richard wasn't discussed, wasn't invited, wasn't part of this moment. Emma had made peace with his absence. Some bridges once burned aren't meant to be rebuilt. As evening wound down, Emma and I stood on Catherine's deck, watching the sunset over water. Married, happy, whole. "Do you ever think about how we got here?" Emma asked. "Sometimes, but I try not to dwell. Our parents' mistakes brought us together, but they don't define us. We chose differently," she said. "We chose integrity," I agreed. And that made all the difference. We stood there as the sun set, casting gold and orange across the water. Two people who'd found unexpected healing in shared devastation, who'd built something honest from others' lies, who'd refused to let betrayal define their future. Lisa was surviving somewhere, hopefully learning. Richard was stumbling toward redemption, maybe succeeding. Catherine was thriving with James. Michael was rebuilding his life, and Emma and I were married, happy, absolutely certain we'd made the right choices. Not the easy choices, not the uncomplicated choices, but the right ones. The ones built on truth, respect, and the hard-won knowledge that integrity matters more than comfort, that honesty matters more than excitement, that partnerships built on genuine values last longer than relationships built on deception. In the end, we all got exactly what we earned. Richard and Lisa earned isolation and consequence, and the slow, painful work of rebuilding from rubble of their own creation. Emma and I earned partnership, trust, and the profound peace that comes from choosing each other with clear eyes and honest hearts. Justice isn't always loud. Sometimes it's just living well, while those who hurt you struggle with the weight of their choices. And sometimes, if you're very lucky, justice looks like a sunset over water with the person who chose you back, who saw your worst and stayed anyway, who built a future with, not despite your scars, but because they understood them. That's not revenge. That's not even justice. That's just freedom. And it was more than enough.